I started today with having Aries go in between barrels in the arena. Horses in general don't like going in between objects. It's called a squeeze. This limits their avenues of escape, something a prey animal is always mindful of. This exercise will help Aries in many things that he will encounter, including going through gates, into stalls and barns, and trailer loading. Here he kicked some sand against the barrels and startled himself. It's important when he gets startled or bolts away that I ignore it and go right back to what we were doing. If I were to stop everything and pet him, he might think there really was something to be afraid of. One of the things we have been working on this week is petting his neck without first petting his face. Until now, I have always pet his face first, then went to pet his neck. I want him to accept touch from me anywhere, so I am starting to pet his neck first. Also, in preparation for picking up his feet, I have turned around and am petting him with, in this case, my left hand, and running my hand down his legs. Here I put the barrels closer together to form a tighter squeeze. Gotta keep increasing the challenges for him or he will get bored. Aries' right side is still the tougher side for now. He is much more easily startled, as you'll see later when I try to touch his neck first without first touching his face. I think Aries enjoys the pedestal for the same reason most horses enjoy it. 1, it gives them a higher vantage point, and 2, it stretches out their backs. A good stretching exercise is to stand a horse on a pedestal, then have the horse lower his head. That really stretches out their back and neck. Still working on our shoulder yields. He's getting pretty good at it now. It's hard for me to see what he's doing when my back is to him, obviously. Sometimes I don't get a sense for how he did until I look at the video. I like how he is relaxed while I am rubbing down his legs. His right ear is trained on me, so he is alert, but he doesn't seem real worried. I am starting to get to where I need to touch Aries' hind end. This is a touchy thing to do. First, he can kick, and kick hard. I am extremely vulnerable in this position. He can very easily spin away and nail me. This is where my trust in him becomes vital. He will sense my apprehension and get nervous. So I literally have to clear my mind of thoughts of getting kneecapped by his back foot. Not an easy thing to do. One way to try and prevent getting kicked is to try and get him to turn his head towards me a bit. With his head facing me, it will be extra hard for him to spin away and kick. Hopefully, if he's facing me and gets startled, his butt will go in the easiest direction, which is away from me. Here I am trying to touch his neck first, rather than touch face then neck. I am just going to ignore his startles and go right along with my plan. He does accept it eventually. I decided to take Aries for a walk up the driveway, and we went past the Blue Monster of Doom. He was quite good about following me without much argument, though he didn't entirely trust that tarp. When possible, put yourself between the scary thing and your horse. They will always spook away from it and not over the top of you. This last week, I've had the great pleasure of letting some of the people who have helped me with this film project have the chance to pet Aries. Some of them have been with me since I first got him, and their continued support is invaluable to me. It was so nice to let each one of them touch Aries, They all got quite a thrill. Today I decided it was time to revisit the dreaded bag. I had left the bag alone for a while until I got better control over Aries' feet. He has a mortal fear of that bag, so it was going to take more control and more trust before he would accept it. I am waving the bag around here so he can get used to the noise and see that he is not getting hurt by being near it. This is again an example of him needing to differentiate between motion with and without intent. Here I offer it to him. When he reaches to sniff, I take it away as a release. You reach, I remove. Aries likes patterns and consistency when learning. Oh, and he also likes baby steps. Now we have moved on to you let me touch you, and I'll remove it. Already he is distinguishing between motion with and without intent. Before he was trying to leave, now he is remaining still. Though when I swing it under him, he still gets startled. Okay, now this was precious. I am now way less scary than that dreaded bag. He is actually hiding behind me. I decided to make it so the bag was a little less flag-like. I wrapped it around the stick so as to make it less wavy. Aries thought that was a much better plan. I knew I wasn't going to be able to come at Aries from the side with the bag, but maybe he would let me go through his ears to get to his neck. That seemed to work. The key to horse training is creativity. If one thing doesn't work, find another way. Be inventive and think outside the box. Since Aries is a baby steps kind of guy, I use his acceptance of being touched on his face as an open door to the rest of his body. Yeah, we'll get to where I can just touch him anywhere, but for now, He feels safer when he gets an eyeball close-up on things before they touch him anywhere else. After thinking about the problems of touching his hind end, I decided the best approach would be having my back to him. If he does manage to get a kick off, at least my legs will buckle in the direction he is kicking. Hopefully. I am careful to keep his head turned towards me, and as I said earlier, I can't really see his expression, but he looks pretty relaxed about it. This is a bit of a problem-solving question I posed to Aries here. I ask him to walk off the pedestal going forwards. He has to think about where and how to place his back feet. Some horses fall off the pedestal at this point, but Aries did a great job. Here I am asking Aries to not only accept getting pet on the neck, but also with two hands, both individually and at the same time. Although this may seem like something pretty easy for him, it isn't. Now he is trying to keep track of both hands and my body position. He accepts it pretty well on the left. The right is a little touch and go, but he eventually accepts it on the right as well.